going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It feels good to control the state. Oregon able to get a big football win at Autzen Stadium, taking down Oregon State by a final score of 41-7, and another impressive and impressively balanced performance for Oregon football. Oregon volleyball also dominated the state this weekend with wins over Oregon State and Portland State on the volleyball court as well. And throughout Big Ten play, Coach Tracy Joyner continuing to navigate the squad with strong defensive efforts and another shutout at Pat Bay Field that occurred on Sunday. Big day for Oregon, a big weekend for Oregon across the board. Big day for Oregon football on Saturday, honoring Phil Knight, Bill Bowerman with the Shoe Duck uniforms. It was real. They looked cool. They look cool, Scotty. The Nike wing on one side with the duck wing on the other, on the marbling throughout, and the detail, and the back of the uniforms popped, man. The back of the uniforms with the gold lettering, the gold trim, and the big white marble numbers, they looked really, really cool. And Oregon looked good and they played good on Saturday. It took a little bit of momentum to get started throughout this ball game, as it was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. It looked like, Oregon State, they're hanging around. And then Oregon really locked into gear. A 14-point second quarter. Oregon went into the break up 21-7, and then the Ducks outscored the Beavers in the second half 20-0 en route to a 41-7 victory. The Ducks outgained Oregon State 585 yards total to 147 for the Beavers. Oregon with 305 passing yards. First time Ducks went over 300 passing yards and 280 rushing yards. The balance of this team has been so mightily impressive. And when you are a balanced team and can beat somebody in the middle with a rushing attack, on the edges with a rushing attack, deep with a passing attack, intermediate with a passing attack, short with a passing attack, Oregon has been doing it all throughout the course of this season, and they've got weapons that can beat you in so many different ways. The Ducks showed it throughout the course of this early season, and especially throughout the course of Saturday. Had a few guys with really strong rushing efforts. Oregon had 6 different guys with 5 or more carries in the ballgame. That's a stable of running backs. Oregon had 8 different players catch the football on Saturday. That is a weaponry of wide receivers, an armory of weapons at the receiver room. This has been an Oregon football team that has looked really complete through the first 4 games. Oregon also has a really big test coming up on Saturday against Penn State on the road, and what is going to be a top 6 matchup. Oregon ranked number 6 in the AP poll. I would have Oregon higher, but I'm wearing the O on my chest. Top 6 in the AP poll, and a Big Ten championship rematch coming up next week. Oregon took care of business on Saturday, but as Coach Lanning will tell you, they're already refocused on the task at hand ahead coming up on the road this week against Penn State. Breaking down the win against Oregon State, Coach Lanning, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. 41-7, the Duck victory on Saturday. Let's hear from the coach.
All right. Awesome crowd today. Always want to be thankful to our fans. I think they're a huge piece of what we do and how we do it. Thought we started off a little bit slow and then obviously really came together in the second, third, fourth quarter there to finish it out and have a dominant performance. We talked about winning the trenches before this game started, and to be able to rush for almost 300 yards and hold them to under 100 rushing after we started so poorly was a big win for us, and overall operated well. We've got to be cleaner in some of our issues there from a penalty standpoint and just our operation overall, but ultimately a dominant performance and a really good challenge for us to go head into this next week as we go to Penn State.
The slow start, what was the message to the team after that second drive?
Do your job, right? Really simple. Do your job, right? And know what we came in saying that we were going to do. We can't, allow teams to be able to move the ball like that to start, and we got to stay in rhythm offensively. We lost a little bit of that, but we got it back.
You're focusing on run defense, particularly on first down. When you hold them to 17 yards on P and 10, 21 on 16 first downs, how do you feel like you guys did on first down, particularly in the run game?
Like I said, better in the second, third, fourth quarter. I think there were some errors by us early that we can clean up, and we gave them, some things and credit to them. They did some stuff that was good, but we gave them some opportunities that we shouldn't give them. So I think we shared that up later on in the game.
The rushing attack for them really slowed down after that first quarter. What did you guys feel like you were able to do differently on the interior to kind of help that?
Yeah, kind of same thing. We just started playing our brand of football, getting knocked back, winning, getting off blocks, not letting guys win one-on-ones, and then finishing to the ball with relentless effort.
Yeah, hey, Coach. This is the second time you've played the Beavers in September, non-conference game. How do you feel about this rivalry right now?
It certainly means a ton to us. I think everyone feels like this resonates a little bit more when it's on that Thanksgiving weekend. It's a little bit different when it's not, but it's still a game that means a ton. Was this 129th meeting, one that we have a lot of pride in. It means a ton to our players, and I think they really vocalized that throughout the week and then today.
What makes Decorian's ball skill so good for the one-on-one back shoulder throws, and just how effective of a weapon is that for your offense?
Yeah, what makes him good is he catches it, right? And he's been a guy that can win in those one-on-one. I think there's some opportunities that he wishes he had back today, but ultimately he's a tough guy to guard, and if he can beat you over the top, he'll win over the top. If you're even, he's going to be able to beat you on a back shoulder.
How do you think James has done so far punting the ball, and what did you see on that fake that he was able to convert?
Yeah, he was able to execute a look that we thought might be there and did an unbelievable job. If it wasn't there, he had some options. Did a really good job pinning him inside the 10 there, which was huge, right, to flip the field. So overall, I think he's executed really well.
Dan, with how hot you guys have started in the games before this, there hasn't really been an opportunity where you guys have needed to steal momentum, but in this game, it's a tie game. You guys almost punted back to them with a chance for them to take the lead. So what was the message to kind of, for the first time this year, take the momentum back from the Beaver side?
Yeah, we didn't really talk about momentum, but we talked about making plays, talked about creating opportunities for yourself, and momentum can go one way or the other, but ultimately it's about stacking multiple plays. It's about how many plays in a row can you win. You got to win each play individually, and I thought our guys did that, obviously, overall today.
Really a lot of new starters this year. Can you assess where you guys are through 4 games as you head into Penn State?
I think we're getting a really good gauge of that as we play Penn State. I think it's a team that's obviously extremely talented. I feel good about our team. I really like our team. This will be a good environment for us to go play in. We're going to be playing people that have a lot of talent as well and good scheme on both sides of the ball. It'll be a real challenge for us.
Coach, towards the end of the first half, that 2-minute drive from Dante Moore, how important is what he's been able to do in those 2-minute drills heading into half, and what did you like from the offensive line to give him those pockets during that 2-minute drill?
Yeah, I think Dante's done what we've seen him do a lot this year is take what's there. There's some moments that they had good coverage down the field, and he was able to win with his legs. We scored last week in a 2-minute drive right before half. Doing it again, especially, it's really important when coming out at half, you're not going to have the ball, right? So to be able to score right there with less than a minute left is huge. Doesn't really give the opponent an opportunity to go score before half, and then for us to come out, then get a 3 and out, and then turn around and give it back to our offense again, I think that creates real separation.
Yeah, Coach, obviously a really productive day from Dante all around, but there's a couple times where he had guys open downfield, looked a little antsy, fired it on a line instead of putting a little more touch on the ball. What do you see on those plays? Are those ones we can hit for big plays, or is that just a, run-of-the-mill
What would you say? You sound like a quarterback coach back there. What did he throw for, 300?
That's why I said it was a productive day.
Yeah. You were happy with it then?
This whole season, you guys have traditionally kind of pulled Dante in that fourth quarter, and you could have done that this game, so why did you decide to keep him in?
We just made the decision, hey, if it's more than 5 minutes, we're going to get one more drive with our offense. If it's less than, we're going to, do something different. And we wanted to try to create one more clean drive. We weren't clean the drive before. We wanted to finish with a clean drive.
How long are you and the team going to enjoy this win before flipping the switch to Penn State? Is it right now? Is it tomorrow morning?
Yeah, switch is already flipped.
Jeremiah McClellan's made a lot of noise with his blocking, but he gets his first touchdown today. Like how do you reward blocking like that when you give him targets?
Yeah, I mean, that's just unbelievable job by J-Mac, and he's going to get a lot more opportunities, right? That's the first touchdown of many for him and Otson, and on our team. He's done a guy, you never know where the ball's going to go at wide out. Every pass play has multiple people it can go to, and he took advantage of it when it was thrown his direction today and did a really good job.
Coach, with being a couple games in now, what can we see from the team now that you've seen it from more of an in-game perspective going forward? What can we look forward to seeing the rest of the season as we get into more competitive play?
Kind of be more specific there. I mean,
Just what do you like from the team so far going, in being in an in-game setting as opposed to practice, and after, a big win from today and able to make more plays with a higher score? Like, what do you see? What do you like?
Yeah, the competition for us, if it's going to show up in a game, it's got to show up in practice. So I want to see us go compete in practice like we're playing a game. And the more moments we can create like that in practice, the more success we're going to have the field on game day. We get great challenge in practice going against our offense, going against our defense, and vice versa. That's a great challenge. So it's going to be a team that matches up well with us next week. That's going to be a great challenge as well. There's going to be a little bit back and forth. And when the moment comes, you take advantage of it.
Did you get a sense going into this one, Dan, that this meant a little something that Dante TV referenced that he told them about how he performed there 2 years ago while at UCLA, that didn't really sit well with him?
Well, I think every game means a little bit to him, but I certainly think that this game is one that resonated since his time there at UCLA, and it wasn't his performance that he felt like was his best, and he went out there and operated really well today.
Their QB was averaging about 300 yards per game through the year. Before this, you guys held him to 28% passing. I mean, what did you guys do on the defensive side of the ball that really held him in check?
Ultimately, besides the busted coverage, we matched patterns really well, and we were able to condense a pocket. And I think that he didn't have a ton of time back there. There weren't necessarily a ton of pass rush opportunities. They ran the ball a little bit, but when you have bodies on bodies, it's hard to throw. And when you're playing some zone coverage, it's a little bit easier to make some completions. We didn't play a ton of that today.
What did you like from Dante's ability to kind of tuck in and run when his first and second options weren't there?
Yeah, I just think that's good decision making at quarterback. Obviously, you want to protect yourself, but that goes to maturity of not forcing something that's not there.
Elaborating further on the pass defense, I think quarterbacks are only completing 51% of passes against you guys so far this year. What have you just liked about how ineffective and inefficient you've been able to make quarterbacks so far this year?
Well, strength in numbers for one. We've been able to play a lot of guys and then play at a high level. I think that's a big piece of it. But ultimately, when rushing coverage works together, it allows us to have success.
Last week, you talked about you were frustrated that you guys didn't play the complete game. Today, you talked about how you were frustrated with the sort of a slower start. With a game like Penn State next week, how do you make sure that you guys put together a four full quarters together?
Yeah, it's hard in football, right? And it doesn't always go like that. So you got to go out there and prepare and practice like you want it to look in a game. And there's going to be some highs and lows. There's going to be some ups and downs. It started off a little bit slower today, but it finished the way it's supposed to. But ultimately, you might not get those layups or those freebies, later on in the season. So we got to start fast. That's important for us in the future.
You make of just Bryce's overall impact and the fingerprints maybe of the defensive play he had for you guys?
Yeah, how many did he finish with? 10 tackles today, right? I think he had like 9 in the first half. So Bryce was hungry. He's passionate. He wanted to go out there, and there's some plays that he wants to have back too. There's a couple missed that I know he wants to have, but this game meant a lot to Bryce, probably as much as anybody on our team, just being here from Oregon. So proud that he's on our team, proud that we get to coach him, and proud of his performance.
Coach, congrats on the win. Mentally and emotionally, having a rivalry game before Penn State, one of the biggest games on the year on the calendar, how does that prepare your team and you mentally, not only to perform on this game, but next week to make a statement nationally?
Yeah, one game at a time. We had to focus on this game this week. I know they have a bye this week, so they were able to focus on us, but our focus was on Oregon State. But that's why we got to be able to flip the switch quick and move on and get ready for Penn State.
What are your initial thoughts of Penn State? Obviously, they lose Warren, but bring in a bunch of receivers. They return the running backs and Aller. What have you seen from them thus far?
Yeah, they're really talented. Schematically, as challenging as anybody that will play, right? As far as what they present on both sides of the ball, they play relentless effort. They play well on special teams. Coach Franklin's teams are always well coached, so it will be a real challenge for us, but one we're excited to attack.
Wanted to ask about Alex Harkey on the exterior of the offensive line. He's just been really bullying people throughout this season. I mean, he's been top graded every single week. Can you speak to kind of his influence as a leader in the offensive line and in the trenches?
I think more than anything, Alex has the mindset of what you want as an offensive lineman, right? He wants to get the dirty work. He doesn't mind being in there in the trenches. He's the kind of guy you want to go down an alley with, right? Alex has those traits, and it shows up on the field for us.
I think that's true of a lot of the guys in the trenches for Oregon football. I would feel safe just about anywhere with those guys around me because that is a physical brand of football that Oregon's bringing to the table. Makes it real easy for the running backs to have huge plays. Makes it real easy for the linebackers to get to the running backs because of the guys in the trenches eating things up. It also makes the quarterback look pretty good when he has a ton of time sitting back in the pocket. He can sling it to 8 different receivers like he did over the course of this weekend on Saturday. We're hearing from that quarterback, Dante Moore, 300-plus yards. Breaking down the game when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you, breaking down a 41-7 Oregon win over Oregon State in the rivalry series. And a big reason for a Duck victory was clean quarterback play. Dante Moore, he has been stout throughout the course of this season. Might be starting to generate a little bit of a Heisman campaign. Dante Moore, after performance like this, 21 completions on 31 attempts, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 68% completion percentage, and he ran for a career-high 53 rushing yards on 7 attempts. A dual-threat quarterback, took the opportunities when it was given to him, stayed mostly out of harm's way of any hits, and he was slinging it around to 8 different wide receivers. Dante Moore, strong game at home against Oregon State. He met with the media post-game, breaking down the effort.
What did this one mean to you? Because TV alluded to that you mentioned to them that how you played against them at Reeser while at UCLA was something you mentioned to TV before the game. That didn't sit well with you. So what did this mean to you?
Yeah, as a whole team, it was, rivalry week, in-state rival, playing for the community, playing for Phil. So it was a lot of it that played a part. But personally, it was me remembering my 18-year-old self when I played at Oregon State, and I was mentally depressed, just the way, things are going, and everybody knows the struggles that have happened, and I kind of just use that as fuel to make sure that I never get that feeling ever again. So this week I just pushed myself. Coach Lanning, me and him watched my UCLA game, and we were kind of going through, if I had to call a play here, will it be different? And a lot of plays were just different, but he just kind of told me that that's probably the best thing I've gotten to is just improving, making smarter decisions, putting the ball where it needs to go. So there's a lot of juice that was just, flying around for this game. And, of course, I got emotional when I was praying before I took the field. And it was just great to get the win for sure.
Dante, with you playing in front of the home crowd in this rivalry game, what did it mean to you not only to get the win, but to play and add those 4 touchdowns and the yards that you put up in this game?
Yeah, it's great when you're always, winning football games. And I feel like this whole week we just pushed ourselves at practice and made sure that, the fans and, our teammates and everybody just feel the energy and the juice we're playing, flying around the football field with. And, it was a great performance, but I feel like overall there's a lot of things you have to clean up. And that's a great thing about Sundays is we get to, recover, but also get to learn from our mistakes. So we're excited.
It was just announced that College Game Day is going to be in Happy Valley for this next week's game. Now that you're finally here, it's finally Penn State week. What's the anticipation like? How excited are you for this game?
Yeah, I just kind of think of my younger self when I was sitting in front of the TV, seeing a lot of College Game Days, and just understanding that these are blessings that are coming my way. And I feel like as a team, we're going to, celebrate tonight, get ready for this upcoming week. But overall, it's always us versus us. We're going to make sure we, learn from our mistakes. And, it's a great environment. As a kid, you always dream about playing there. So we're excited and ready to get going.
I think externally, a lot of people thought we'll really find out who Oregon is in that Penn State game. You guys that's been the talk since preseason. You guys have gotten where you're at now, gotten off to this start because you haven't had that mentality. But, yeah, you can think about this game now. What do you feel like you've shown through 4 games? What have you learned about your team through 4 games going into this matchup?
Yeah, the biggest thing I learned from just us as a team is when adversity hits, we know how to bounce back. That's from just going 3 and out. That's from like a turnover or things that happen. And, of course, down the road, there's going to be, many, things that don't go our way. And I feel like overall we've been facing adversity pretty well when it happens. And we're just having fun with the game of football. I mean, at the end of the day, forget stats, forget fame, forget, many things of that. We just dreamed about being at the University of Oregon, and we're having fun. We're flying around and playing for a brother. So that's kind of the biggest thing we've been, taking away these 4 weeks, and we're excited to keep going.
Why do you feel like you guys are prepared for this game up against Penn State? Like, what have you guys seen to make you feel confident going into Saturday?
Right now, we're just big on making sure, like I said, we celebrate tonight, recover tomorrow. But, at the end of the day, we're going to watch the film. Coach Lanning's going to push us every day like he always does at practice. Playing in a hostile environment, practice is going to be, really competitive and really tough on us. But at the end of the day, it's, another football game. And, I have trust in my brothers and they have trust within me. So we're just going to take it as another game. We're traveling in a far trip, but we're excited and we all dream about this.
Career high for you on the ground today. Most of them coming off scrambles. How do you think that threat kind of stresses defenses, being able to add something extra that they got to worry about?
Yeah, they had a lot of great coverages in today. Coach Lanning always says you can use your legs as a weapon, go use them. A lot of times, defenses are going to play a lot of shell coverage and get a lot of depth on our routes. And as a quarterback, I'm not the fastest in the world, but if I can make a little play, making something happen, I'm going to go get it done. And, when I'm running with the ball, of course, just protecting myself. But if I have a chance to go long, I'm going to go long. So, did a great job making sure turning, no plays into big plays, and we're doing a great job with that.
After the opening drive, the offense seemed to stall a little bit to start the game. When you're going into a game like Penn State next week, how important is it for you and just for the offense to make sure that you guys start off hot? And how important is it just to make sure that you don't have a slower start?
Yeah, all year we've been, doing great with first drives or just, playing, at the standard of Oregon football. But, that's just a game of football. That happens everywhere. It happens in the NFL, high school, college. Of course, that's not what you want. But when them things happen, like Coach Lane always looks at me and tells me certain words to make sure I, relock back in and understand that this is just little adversity, how you're going to bounce back. And I feel like at practice we have a lot of team run periods or periods at practice when things don't go our way. And of course, I can look defeated. The offense can look defeated. But when we have defenses, the defense we have, when we have the coaching staff we have, they're reminders for us to make sure that things aren't always going to go our way. But, they're just there to remind us that them plays are going to happen. And when we have them plays, we got to take our chances. We got to take the shots. And, the run game is always going to be there. So it's a lot to learn from, but it's just adversity, and it happens to everybody.
Now, Dante, I don't think I'll ever forget the comments you made after the Oklahoma State game about Phil Knight being a part of your family. Now you're wearing the Shoe Duck gear. How does it feel to rep his legacy on the field?
Yeah, I had a chance to actually talk to him after the game. He's getting ready to leave out, and I had to make sure I just come to him and talk to him. I mean, he just has a big impact on this university, but just on the world, just to the person he is, the brand he's built, and just the good soul he is as a person. And I mean, he's done so much for this program, and we had the chance to, of course, honor him, like Coach Lennon said, give him the flowers for what he's done for this university. And I feel like, just playing out there, for our brothers, but also playing for Phil and playing for the community. I mean, I'm pretty sure he enjoyed it. We came out victorious, and he always comes to the games, and we're just excited to have him, as a person that we can call, a family member. So we love him to death. We gave the game ball to him. I mean, this week was for him, and we love him to death.
How would you assess the growth of the overall synergy between you and your receivers through 4 games?
I like your Jordan 11s, by the way. Of course, appreciate it. Yeah, the receivers this week. I mean, these past weeks we've been just, the plays are getting called. They're gonna go make the plays, and when the ball's in there, they're gonna get the ball. Today we had a great job throwing a lot of back shoulders and making sure that the receivers can come down with the ball. But when you're at the University of Oregon, you're always gonna have playmakers. You're always gonna have guys that when the ball's in there, they're gonna go get it. Of course, human drops happen. Sometimes you can't get open, but overall, I feel like our communication has been out the roof. Playing multiple defenses with different coverages. I'm making sure I practice. If I see a certain look, I communicate while watching the film or we're at practice like, hey, in this certain coverage, do this, do that. And I feel like they all do a great job. We have a lot of vets. We have a lot of young guys. And I feel like GB and Malik, they're taking Corey and Coop and everybody under the wing to make sure that, they're getting the best look and, best, certain, things at practice to make sure they're going to be great for the game.
Penn State had a whole extra week to prepare for you guys. What is that like, knowing that they've had so much time to prepare for you guys going into this game?
Yeah, they have extra preparation, but Coach Lanning's going to make sure we get the amount of preparation we need for this game. We're always going to be prepared. We're going to make sure we push ourselves at practice. Coach Lanning knows the recipe, so we're going to follow him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you visited Penn State for their whiteout in 21 against Auburn, right?
Yeah. How do you know that?
I know everything. It's what they pay me for. Be that you did go there. What do you remember about it? And since Bo Nix was playing in that game,
that's crazy.
Did you reach out to him, or will you reach out to him about that experience?
Yeah, I actually Snapchat memories 4 years ago. I think it was yesterday. I was there. It's crazy. Yeah, it was. I had a lot of teammates from high school that played on Penn State. Jalen Reed, Kalen King. They're all in the NFL now. Being able to play there. At the time, I didn't know much of Bo as a person, and of course as a player. And I mean, he was there just throwing a lot of great passes. I forgot who won that game, but he was a competitor. The stadium was really loud, of course, but just understand how composed he was. Of course, I hope I have the chance to talk to him and just see hear his thoughts. And it's just gonna be a great week. It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a great environment, hostile environment. But I'm gonna reach out to Bo for sure to see what things he has to tell me.
Tatum talked about how Bryce Betcher sets the tone for this team, especially for the defense. What's it like going against Bryce Betcher every day in practice, and kind of the imprints he had on today's game from your position?
Yeah, Bryce is crazy, man. He's just the guy that you want to be your Mike linebacker. I mean, his communication is amazing. He flies around every day at practice. He was a walk-on at first. He doesn't take none of this for granted. This week was very special for him, and he made sure every day, I felt his energy. Of course, he's just a great guy at heart, and we love him to death. We call him Mr. Eugene. He's just a guy that came from here, from the ground up, and is very blessed to be where he is. And at practice, he makes great plays. It can be a pick, it can be a tackle, and every day I'm like, thank you, you're my teammate. I hate to play against you, but overall, I just love him to death. He's a great guy, and, you have many more great memories he made.
There was a play early in the second quarter. I think it was 3rd and 8, and it was 7-7, and if you don't convert, you give it back to the Beavers. They have a chance to take the lead, but you threw it up to Malik Benson, and he made a nice catch on the sideline. Extended the drive, and then you guys scored there. Obviously led to 34 unanswered. What's that connection like with Malik to where you can kind of like turn the tide right there and change the game?
Yeah, knowing man-to-man on the outside, just got to give him a chance. When the ball's in there, he's always going to make a play. But, our connection is just unbelievable. We're always on the PlayStation playing 2K together, Call of Duty together. We're always screaming at each other. It can be times where we can be tough on each other, but that's how brothers are. And he makes sure that, he's been to Alabama, been to FSU. He's a Drew Carr product. He's not taking none of this for granted either. So just understanding his story. Today was kind of personal for him. He lost his uncle, and he was emotional this morning. And I made sure I hugged him, pretty tight, and let him know that I'm always here for him. Things can be very tough in life, and I just know when he's emotional and seeing the tears on his face, I'm like, he's going to, make a lot of great plays today. So got to give him a chance. And, he just used it as fire today. But overall, I love him to death. I love to call him brother. Even though we're not blood, he's still my brother. So I love him to death.
Coach Lanning said that last week when you guys weren't waiting on those early downs on the ground, and he was really impressed by the way you were able to operate on some of those 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, where you had to actually just drop back and stuff. Today, not as much of that. So how did you feel like the offense was able to set you up to be easier because of the rushing game and what they were able to do early on those downs?
Yeah, he emphasized his 1st and 2nd downs this week. At Northwestern, they weren't, of course, the best. And, those things will happen, but when those things happen, in the past week, you just got to make sure to attack it the next week. And this week, we made sure that the run game was, critiqued and make sure that we was very, specific on things we needed to get done. But that's just how football works. You can win 1st and 2nd downs, but then you can be a flag or something can happen to your 3rd and long. And I feel like this year we've been doing a great job with 3rd down conversions, and it's just because of the way we get our scout team looks at practice, the game plan from Coach Stein, and how confident we are with the game plan. So those things will happen, but, we're just excited, get pushing for next week.
Dante Moore, huge game against Oregon State. Now focused on going on the road to Penn State and continuing Oregon's undefeated season. Somebody who this game meant a whole lot to, Mr. Eugene, Bryce Betcher. He's coming up on the other side when we return. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck is.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. He's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Monday after a stellar Saturday for Oregon football. And when it comes to an in-state rivalry, Oregon and Oregon State, it means a lot to a whole lot of people around here. And I'm not sure it meant more than it did to Bryce Betcher, because He's somebody, grew up just down the street, played at South Eugene High School, now plays both ways for Oregon in terms of baseball player, football player, and I'll always remember Bryce Betcher against Oregon State 2 years ago, where in the last game in Corvallis, Bryce Betcher, he hit 2 home runs. And then there was a Tuesday game in Eugene in which Oregon State took an early lead, and Bryce Betcher then hit a grand slam to put Oregon back in the ballgame, a game in which the Ducks beat Oregon State. Bryce Betcher always comes to play when it comes against the Beavers. He comes to play all the time, but against Oregon State, that level of play even takes one more step up. Bryce Betcher, 9 first-half tackles. He had double-digit tackles total on the game. Came out like a cannon. Bryce Betcher, in a game that meant a lot to him, spoke with the media after the game.
Well, Bryce, I heard you on radio earlier in the week. You said that this meant a little something because of baseball, though. So now that you're never going to play them again, you can actually tell the story. So what happened in the recruiting end with them at baseball at the end? And was it Casey? Was it Bailey? What all went down and how did it go down?
Yeah, I'm not going to throw out any names out of respect. But I was told I was going to get an opportunity to walk on there. Coach calls me, says, hey, I'm going to call you on Friday to set up your visit on a Saturday. Friday rolls around, I never got a call. And I was committing that Sunday, either to Utah, Oregon, or Oregon State for baseball. And he calls me Saturday night. He's like, hey, man, sorry I spaced your visit. See if we can get you down here next week. And I was like, yeah, man, sorry about that. I'm going to be a Duck. So, yeah, that's how it went.
You had 9 first-half tackles. You're kind of just playing on every play. I mean, what was that feeling like for you? I mean, just have you ever felt like in that zone when playing football?
Yeah, man, that's just flow state. You know, you just see ball. Obviously, you got to know the play call and communicate, but it's the best feeling in the world.
Bryce, you're from Oregon. You're from here. You're well known with the rivalry. How did this game feel for you with it being your last game on the football team, Oregon versus Oregon State?
Yeah, this was a special one. Leading up to the game, it was ultimate preparation, and then, you know, I was definitely on one today, if you ask any of my teammates. You know, and obviously I played hard, and it was a good team win.
First quarter, the Beavers only score. There were 2 drives or 2 plays where you just took down Anthony Hankerson. One after the other. The second one with Aaron Flowers. Can you walk me through walk me through the process of those plays? Walk me through what was in your mind when you were taking this guy down over and over. Because I could see that you were like, yes, you got to go. You got to stay down.
Yeah, we just have a mindset when we're on the goal line. You know, they don't score short yardage. They don't get a first down. QB under center, we were thinking like QB sneak, so we'd like make a QB sneak check, and then he'd kind of check, so then I knew they weren't running that. So I was just keying the running back's eyes, and he took me right where he was going, and, you know, obviously they scored on that last play, but, you know, it was a good first couple plays.
Yeah, Bryce, you were on the field there till pretty much the very end. A lot of second unit guys. Did you and Coach talk about that throughout the week? Like, hey, leave me out there till the very end. And what does that say about, you know, how much this team and this game means to you?
Yeah, it's definitely something we discussed. You know, I told him I don't want to come out of the game at all. Obviously, he honored that to some degree. And, you know, obviously on that last few drives, you got some younger guys out there, but, you know, I'm just blessed to be in this situation, and, you know, it was a good win.
Like 40 yards for them on the ground in that first quarter, and then 25 throughout the rest of the game. What changed after that to just be able to shut down their rushing attack?
Just mentality. I mean, they had a couple explosive plays on that drive, which, you know, on one of those, actually, I ran. I was in my gap, but I should have struck a block and made a play, and I overran it. So one of those is on me, but, you know, just technique and, you know, resilience, you know, and we got back to our process and stopped in the rest of the game.
You're a third of the way through the season now. What are your thoughts just on where this team is at, kind of where they're going into the heart of your schedule now?
I love our team, man. I've been saying it, you know, the way we practice, way we prepare, and just, you know, discipline. You know, I think going into it with a young team, new guys, discipline is the one thing that we lack, but the way everyone's grown into their role in the team is pretty incredible to watch. So I'm really looking forward to next week.
Seemed like, especially in the run game, interior offensive linemen were not able to get to you. What can you say about the guys in front of you's ability to hold up those guys and free you up to make plays?
Yeah, man, 9 tackles in the first half. Like, that does not happen without the defensive line. Like, my D-line is really good. You know, they get the call line, assign, and then play physical football. And, like, even on that goal line start, you had Amari Washington, like, slapping everyone's helmet, getting everyone pumped up. And, you know, if you got that kind of energy on the D-line, we're going to win some ball games. So I love to have them.
In your Tuesday presser, it was pretty obvious your passion about this game, but there were some Beavers fans online who kind of pondered if it was a bit performative. What would you say to those fans now?
Performative. I mean, you heard the story to begin with personally, but, you know, and obviously Jerry had something to say earlier in the week, but I will say, you know, when you try to fight with your big brother, you know, you can put up a little fight in the beginning like they did in the first quarter, but usually after 4 quarters or 4 rounds, big brother usually wins.
What would you say you're most proud of in terms of the defensive growth through the first 4 games? Is there an aspect of defense where you looked at, you know, coming into training camp that you can say really grew a lot to this point?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'd say discipline's number one with new guys and transfers. You know, like the past 2 games, I don't know how many penalties we had today. I think we had maybe like 2 or 3. Last game we had 0, which is, you know, a big growth standpoint. And just like the effort we play with. You know, I'm a big effort guy, big want to. So I love to see that everyone having on the team.
When run defense was such an off-season emphasis, and especially after last week on early downs, when you hold them as much as you do on P and 10 and 1st and 10, 19 yards on 19 first down runs, you had 6 of those stops. Feel like mission accomplished there in this week when you know what they do, and that's what they do, and you hold them with what you do.
Yeah, you said it, James. Mission accomplished. When you can do that, you know, it's a testament to our D-line and, you know, Coach Tosh getting us in the right call and just playing hard. So, you know, I'm proud of this team, proud of this defense, and got a fun one next week. So look forward to talking to you guys after that.
Bryce Betcher, after a game that meant a lot to him. You heard the first question about his story and the recruiting with Oregon State. He mentioned that on our coaches show on Wednesday last week. And then right before he left, we asked him, we said, hey, Bryce, you know, off the record, what happened there? He told that story, then told in the postgame. It was fun. It was fun. Being here in studio, it was cool to hear him tell that story and then to hear, yeah, it always meant a lot to him growing up, this game. And then after his recruiting, it certainly meant a ton to him, and it certainly showed. It's shown on the field, whether it be baseball or football, every time Oregon's played Oregon State. It certainly showed in Oregon's 41-7 victory over the Beavers on Saturday. Big win. A lot of guys had big-time games. We're going to get to more when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step. but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you on a Monday, breaking down what happened on Saturday as Oregon football got a 41-7 win over Oregon State. Defense, really strong effort. After Oregon State had a long, sustaining drive in the first quarter, Oregon basically shut them down. Oregon State offensively, Oregon defensively for the rest of the game. The Beavers had 43 total yards of offense in the second half. That's pretty good. Means they're probably not scoring very many points. They didn't score any points in the second half. And there were a few plays that Tatum Tuiote was very critical on, especially in the screen game. There was one play where they ran a screen pass Tatum's way. He had a free run at the quarterback, and then he just kind of went everywhere. It was like one of those car dealership guys where you got hands here and feet here, and then he got in the passing lane and was able to disrupt the play entirely. Tatum Tuiote, strong game on Saturday. He spoke with the media afterwards.
Hey, can you give me your assessment of the defense through 4 games? Clearly you haven't played great competition, but how do you feel you guys look right now heading into Penn State?
I think we've done a solid job, but there's always something to improve, and that's the great thing about our defense. We're always ready to go see the doctor, like Coach Lanning say, and just continue to grow.
Tion's a guy who's been thrust into a big role here early in his career, and as somebody who plays next to him out there, what have you seen from him in these first couple weeks? It seemed like today he played one of his best games, especially against the run today.
Yeah, no, Tion's a great kid on and off the field, and obviously he's done a great job of contributing to this defense. And he does it in practice too. So everything that he does on the field in game, no one's surprised because he does it in practice every day too.
Dan said that the flip is switched to Penn State now. This game's over. What's that process like for you? How quickly do you get into it, and how excited are you to play someone of that level?
I think we're gonna start off with just the next day. We're gonna start off with recovery. That's something important. Making sure everyone's healthy, making sure everyone body feel right mentally and physically. But obviously it's going to be a good game, and we're excited to play it.
Northwestern was over 6 yards per carry on first downs last week, but that comes down to just a yard for Oregon State today. What do you feel like, especially on those early downs, you guys are able to do better against the run?
Yeah, that's something that we talked about going into this week, just being able to stop the run, and it starts with us up front. So I think we did a good job today. Just continue to knock out the run so that we can obviously get the third down.
Third away through the season, I feel like maybe the impressions of this defense for you. What have they been for you?
I think we got a relentless defense, a team that is also not selfish. Like when someone makes a play, we all there and we all excited. Like this team, the best thing about this team is like everyone's just excited for one another. No matter who make the play, no matter what happened, like it's all about the team. How can I help the team? And that's what our defense is all about.
Has it been difficult at all to not look ahead to Penn State, and how pumped are you for this matchup to play a high-end team like that?
We always focus about the next day, really. Like every day we focus about the next day. But obviously, like I said, tomorrow is going to be a great day for recovery, and then we're going to start game planning for this Penn State game. We excited. We ready to go.
You didn't have any sacks, but you obviously kept Murphy uncomfortable throughout the pocket. He had 5 completions, 28% completion. How do you feel like you did as a defensive line, just kind of getting after him all day?
I think we did our thing. Obviously, what we're trying to do is stop the run and then making sure that quarterback feel us. And I think that's what we did during the game. Obviously, there's a lot to improve, but I think that's something that we did a good job of today.
Yeah, just building on that, I think quarterbacks are passing for 51% against you guys of their completions. What do you think has led to that? What do you think you guys have done well to cause such inefficiency?
I think we just do a good job up front, just being relentless. Like no matter what is in front of us, double chippers, anything like full slide, like we just do a good job of no matter what trying to affect the quarterback, whether that means actually getting a sack, getting a hit, or getting our hands up for PBUs. Like all that is great ways of affecting the quarterback.
Penn State had a bye this week. So just what is it like for you to know that they had a full extra week to prepare for you guys going into this big time matchup?
I mean, it's great, I guess. Like we just excited. We focus on what we focus on. And once it hits Monday, like we're going to start our game plan and we're going to be ready and dialed in for this Penn State game.
What's been this team's commitment, especially on defense, to getting 11 hats to the ball, especially against a team like Oregon State who really runs the ball?
Like you said, getting 11 hats to the ball, like that's our number one goal on defense, relentless effort. And I feel like as long as we can do that, like no matter what happens, we got a broken play, someone doesn't do their job, like as long as we got effort can fix everything. So we got to just continue to do that and we'll be fine.
Can you give me your assessment of how far along Jerry Mixon has come since last year?
Jerry's a baller. But the thing is, he's been doing this since freshman year. Like in practice, he does this all day. Like him being always around the ball, like this is what he does. And he does it in practice, he does it in our scrimmages, and obviously when he does it in game, like it should be no surprise for us. We got to get down and we got to go block for that man.
Oh man, congrats on the win. Most people grew up watching Oregon State, Oregon. You know, this is a rivalry game, history, so much history on this game. For you as a player, is this just another name on the hit list for you guys, or is it a little bit of bragging rights? How do you feel about this game and this win?
No, this game means a lot to us, especially for our coaches, for Phil Knight, especially this game, man. It means even more now, with all the things that's going on. But it also means a lot to the alumni that been here, the guys that been here in the past. Like this game is more than just a game. Like it's about respect and it's about owning the state. And obviously, when this game happens, like we want to do our best and we want to win. Obviously.
What's it like playing with Bryce?
Bryce Betcher.
Yeah.
That man crazy. But he's the leader of our defense, man. Like. Everyone should strive to be like Bryce. Bryce is such a great human on and off the field. He's a true competitor, and he's always just there for the team. Just like I said, like he's the guy that's really trying to do whatever he can for the team. And if that means that he's not going to make the play, like he's going to do it. Like if that means that our team's going to be successful, like he's just a great guy overall. And whatever you say on that field, I'm going to make sure that the whole defense is playing that thing. So whatever you say, it goes, man.
Last time you guys saw Penn State in December, they were almost able to hit 300 yards on the ground. When they're bringing back both their running backs, it's a lot of the same team. Is there a sense of revenge for you guys there, especially on that defensive front, just trying to slow those guys down?
Yeah, we're going to want to stop the run. Obviously, that's something that we take pride in. So understanding that they have a good team, but we also are going to be ready and keyed in on certain plays and be able to stop that run.
In your 3 years at Oregon, it's been 3 beatdowns against the Beavers. What does that say about you and the team, that's how you guys take care of the rivals?
I think kind of just what I said earlier, like this game means more than just a regular game. We always kind of look back at the time when we lost at Oregon State, and that kind of stings too. Even I wasn't even here, but it stings just watching it. So I think we do a good job of just taking pride in this game, acknowledging that this game is more than just a regular game. This is about the state. This is about Oregon.
That pride showed on the football field on Saturday, a 41-7 win for Oregon football. Ducks on the turf at Autzen weren't the only Ducks in action over the weekend, breaking down the entire Oregon athletic department and what they were up to over the weekend when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in home.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you, breaking down not only an Oregon football 41-7 win against Oregon State, but also what everybody else was up to over the weekend, as Oregon football wasn't the only team to conquer the state this weekend, as Oregon volleyball also went out and got 2 wins over the course of the weekend. A big win against Oregon State, where Oregon dropped the first set against the Beavers, then won the next 3 to beat Oregon State on Thursday. And then on Friday, up to Portland State, Trent Kirsten squad went and got a 5-set victory. Trent Kirsten will be on the show with Joey Mack coming up tomorrow. Oregon soccer continued their Big Ten play, a 0-0 draw as the defense continues to be stout for Tracy Joyner's crew against Northwestern, as now Oregon soccer will go on the road next week. And Oregon men's golf, they're starting action today at the Tyndall up in Washington. A jam-packed week of Oregon athletics coming up. Joey Mack's got you tomorrow. See you, everybody. Go Ducks.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public